Everyone, welcome to Rhythm and Rose Las Vegas. I'm Joshua Jacob. On today's show, we have a very special guest. My friend is a 10-time winner, Best of Las Vegas, two-time winner, Best Vegas Entertainer. Welcome, Chris Phillips of Zowie Bowie. Welcome, sir, to Rhythm and
Well,
Rose Las Vegas.
good morning, and it's great to see you, Josh. And
Yeah,
I got to
man.
tell you something. Needless to say, this must be something very special because I haven't been up this early in the morning in years. Oh wait, it's
Well,
noon almost.
news to me, man. Well, thank you for waking up to being on Rhythm and Rose Las Vegas.
I'm kidding.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
No,
I
thanks
gotta
for having
say,
me. I'm flattered that you have me on.
oh yeah, man. I'm looking forward to hearing your journey, the story behind Zowie Bowie. I mean, we're going way back, so it's going to be a really interesting conversation today. But I want to say, Chris, yes, I mean, the journey being out here in Las Vegas has been such a blessing to see what you have done in your shows. Oh, that's it for the interview. So thanks for
I forgot my cocktail. That was the problem.
You're welcome, bro. I was like, wow, that was a quick interview, a minute, and we're all gone. No, but I want to say, yeah, you've been such a blessing being out here in Las Vegas with your shows. How long has it been already that you've been doing Zoe Bowie?
Well, gosh, if we were to go back to the beginning, back in the '60s, God,
60s, really?
uh, well, to be honest, I started, quite frankly, my musical career where I started performing live in clubs where I could, quite frankly, not have to be told what to do and not have to get a job. Is the reason kind of why I got into the band. That was back in 80, oh Christ, 85,
85.
when
Wow.
I started the music journey where I was a heavy metal drummer
Oh,
with,
wow. Drummer?
I, I
Really?
had hair down to my waist. I could sit on my hair, if you can imagine that, back in the day, because that was a mandatory prerequisite for being in a band. You had to have the hair in
You were
'85.
able to sit on it.
Yeah, and so I was a drummer out in Tempe, Arizona,
Okay.
and in Hollywood on the Hollywood Boulevard uh, from about '84 to about '94. And then, as the story goes, all my friends knew I always had this dream and passion to want to be a flamboyant frontman.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd necessarily say a singer as much as just a flamboyant frontman, whatever that entailed. I'd never sang in my life.
Wow.
At this point, I was in my late 20s, and
Okay.
I had some friends and back in Tempe, Arizona, that were in this retro kind of band, this '80s novelty tribute thing.
Yeah.
Um, and they said, Chris, our singer is sick, and we have a big show coming up on St. Patrick's Day. We're going to be in front of 1,000 people. How would you like to come from behind the drums and hold a microphone instead? And we know that your passion was to always be your idols, which were David Lee Roth and Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and the king of my idols,
Yeah.
Elvis, of course. And I said, my God, okay, I want to do it. This is my chance to finally, stop being afraid and come up front and be the person that I think I was meant to be since I was like 9 years old, which I'll
Wow.
bore you with my influence a little bit later. But I thought, okay, I think I can do this. So they had a
Yeah.
lot of retro music and '80s stuff, and so what I determined right before I was about to walk on this stage with 1,000 people was I can't be Chris Phillips.
Wow.
Who in the hell is Chris Phillips? That just I need to hide behind a character, and I think I can do this.
Wow.
So within seconds, I thought, well, you know what? How about if I essentially pretend to be David Bowie's kid, Zowie Bowie?
Interesting. Okay.
He had named his son Zowie Bowie, and then
Okay.
strangely, his son, when he was a young man, decided to change his name to Duncan Jones.
Okay.
And so, sorry about that.
Very good.
Um, and then about, I'm sorry, I'm getting calls that are interfering here. I apologize.
Very good.
Uh, I thought, gosh, he's not using it. Nobody's using the name. I'm going to be Zowie Bowie. And that way, if I
Wow.
walk out on stage and I completely fall on my face, who cares? I'm David Bowie's kid. And that was
You're,
it.
yeah,
That
exactly.
was that was the whole point of
That's the
Zowie
whole
Bowie.
point.
It had no real purpose or meaning. I love David Bowie, but I wasn't obsessed with him necessarily. But
Hmm.
I thought it had a nice little ring to it. And so I did the show. I only knew 4 songs.
Four.
My God, what am I going to do?
Wow.
And as fate would have it, and I think that the rock gods from above looked down on me and said, you know what, we're going to do something that's never happened before or after this. we're going to get 4 songs into the show, and the cops are going to shut it down. And
Oh man.
it saved me. I got my 4 songs in. They
Wow.
shut down the show, and I was like, thank you, Lord. I go home. I was like, oh my God, that was exactly what I wanted to do. I meant to do this. So I sold my drums. I cut all
Man.
my hair off. And in 1994, I became Zowie Bowie.
94, that's when it started.
Yeah, so that's a long, boring
Wow.
story to answer your trying to.
Definitely
And
wasn't
so,
boring. Very interesting.
and
Wow.
so from that day,
Yeah.
I started performing live. And except for COVID, I have not really had a week off in 32 years.
32 years, not one
Yes,
week off.
not that I remember.
Wow, man. Congrats on that. 32
Well,
years. That's
thanks.
impressive. Yeah.
As I mentioned, I've just been very blessed that I've not had to do a job where I certainly had no education or skill to do. I don't have a trade. I don't weld. So for guys like me, hey, let's get in a band.
Yeah.
And
No, yeah.
so I still kind of have that juvenile uh, attitude going into this because I've learned a long time ago that doing what I do, if I grow up, I'm out of business. So
Mm.
in many regards, I'm still a wild little reckless teenager who, when I look in the mirror in the morning, is told something very different.
Mm.
What the hell? Beats working.
Hey, it works for me. Let's keep going. Cool.
And to be
Chris,
honest,
go ahead. Yeah.
with me, I love music. I love my idols that I used to adore.
Mm.
I love everything about performing, but for me, it's never been about singing. It's never been about the music, really. It kind of goes back to my childhood growing up, observing my parents and the effect that they had on people when they would go to a party or a social function. And everybody loved them because there was just something about their energy that made people feel good, and people
Wow.
were attracted to them.
Yeah.
My dad was an attorney. My mom was a first grade teacher, but prior to that, my dad was a jazz piano player in a band. My mom was an opera singer.
Oh, wow.
So they
Really?
were
Okay.
performers, and I grew up every Sunday uh, waking up to the sound of my dad playing old vintage jazz standards while my mom would sing next to him at the piano. And so I was raised by the classic songbook of Vegas, so to speak, with the old American songbook.
Wow.
Uh, and I was very influenced by that type of music. And so I guess subconsciously I was doing something so my parents could live vicariously through my adventures that they didn't get to necessarily have.
Yeah.
And now at my older years, I'm now living as somebody who has no Social Security, 401k, or a pension. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh my God.
And so my point being, for me, it's always just been about trying to make people happy,
Yeah.
people feel good. And if I can do that, I feel like I serve some small purpose in this world to be some
Mm.
benefit to somebody that maybe had a terrible week and can come out to Zowie Bowie at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night and forget their troubles and lift their spirits a little bit by drinking a few spirits.
Wow. Yeah. What a story, Chris. I mean, it's amazing. See, I didn't even know that. I mean, probably a lot of people don't even know that story of you. But,
And
I gotta,
so, I
yeah.
have a
Yeah.
ball, and I love music and stuff. And what's so great about this is it's able to satisfy, for me personally, a couple different musical interests that I have, and it's a very wide range in terms of the type of music and the type of shows I do, which has been kind of cool. And there's not many people who go to the extremes that I do musically from one night to the next.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I guess it gets to satisfy my strange little double personality. One night I get to act 18, and the next night I get to act 80.
Yeah, and speaking of, you recently got married, right? It's been a few years and you have a daughter?
Yes, I have a lovely little 8-year-old angel. Her name
Wow.
is,
Congrats.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's her name? No, it's Ava Rose Phillips, and she's everything to me. And
Wow.
quite frankly, I never really intended on having a child. I didn't think that was in the cards for me. But what happened is, long story short, I'd gone through several relationships, some of which were on stage with me over the years,
Hmm.
and that was great. But it just, you know, I don't think it was meant to be a long-term thing necessarily compared to something that served a purpose at the time for mutually between whoever I was with and myself. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a day, but it all led me up to the point where I was sitting around a little over 10 years ago
Hmm.
going, maybe it'd be best if I pursued a gal that wasn't, kind of a, I don't know how do you put this, a cliche Vegas club girl,
Mm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's time for me to maybe go back to my values that I grew up with, which was pretty old fashioned guy.
Okay.
And I saw this girl on Facebook. I was like, God,
Really?
she's really pretty, and she has a son, and God, she goes to church and has dinner with her parents on Sundays, and what is all that?
That's
So
awesome.
this is
Wow.
so stupid. I've never done anything like this in my life because I've always met
Really? Okay.
girls the way you're supposed to, drunk in a bar. Um, I yeah, saw this girl, and I thought, well, I'll reach out to her. So I messaged her, and I said, my name is Chris. You don't know me. I'm going to this big function. Would you be willing to consider going with me?
Yeah.
She saw the message and she read it, and she called her mom right away and said, Mom, that orange dude on the billboard just messaged me and wants me to go out.
By the orange dude.
What was that?
Wow.
So she called me and she goes, No. She goes, No, thanks. I don't know you. It's weird.
Wow.
I
Okay.
said, No, no, that's not going to work. I said, Just trust me. I'll meet you there. I'm a little creepy, but not that creepy. Uh, let's go out and see what happens. So
Yeah.
he hesitantly agreed to go. We met at this function, and that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Um, we then immediately struck up a relationship. Within a year, we bought a house together, and
Wow.
she made me sell my very beautiful convertible sports car and got a dad mobile SUV because she intended on having children. And I thought
Yeah.
that ain't gonna happen, but whatever. I'll
Yeah.
get the SUV, and I'll be damned. Within a month, she came downstairs one day and she was holding this stick with a plus on it. I
Hmm.
was like, "What the hell is that? Is that your test from when you? What did you got? COVID?" What? Uh,
Yeah,
Chris,
cool, man.
he goes, "No, that I just took the test, Chris. We're gonna have a baby." And she was filming me.
Wow.
Of course, my reaction
Yeah.
at the time, and I was just like a deer in the headlights for about 20 minutes. I didn't say a word. I jumped in my car and I ran to
Oh,
Walgreens, bought
wow.
13 pregnancy tests. And sure as the world, we were blessed to have,
Yeah.
without question, the perfect little golden child that has just been a
Wow,
dream
man.
from, that I didn't know I wanted. And I can't
Yeah.
imagine life now, of course, without this little one because she's just my best friend. She's funny, she's smart. And the only problem is I don't know if it was my influence or what, but she wants to be an entertainer. Oh, God.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Stay in school
Looking up
eventually.
to her dad. Look at that.
No, so she's now in my show. She dances, she sings in the
Oh, she
show.
does. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I love her to death, but there's a little resentment. I've been doing this for 40 years, and
Yeah.
she within a few months became considerably more relevant and popular than I've ever been.
Is that right? Well, good
That's
for
fine.
her, man. Look at
No, that's fine.
her. Wow.
No, somebody's got to take care of daddy, so
Yeah,
we'll
right.
groom her in the proper way. I hope, but she's
Yeah.
just been great. My wife's been just wonderful and
It's awesome.
changed my life because I was pretty reckless and something of the cliche Vegas guy 10 years ago, and she
Hmm.
she turned me around and showed me a different path, which was more like my upbringing, and it's just been
Wow,
wonderful.
man. That's awesome.
So
Thank you for sharing that. It's, that's the thing is we all go through our own journey, right? We go through different relationships but it's just interesting that when you don't look for it, it will come to you what's meant for you.
you have to,
Yeah.
it's life. I've figured out is something you can't force,
Right.
and you have to believe in fate.
Yeah.
And when something that you want to have happen in your life, when it just comes out of nowhere, it's when it's meant to actually
That's right.
be the real thing, I think.
Yeah, I
Or at least
believe
I
that.
believe that because I don't pursue anything.
No, I believe that
Most of my life
100%.
where it doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
No, back to your daughter. Does she perform with you on stage as like with recent shows now, or is it every now and then?
Every now and then, but
Okay.
as you may or may not know, I'm sure you do, but I have two wildly different shows, which I alluded to earlier. One of which was my original Zowie Bowie high energy nightclub concert party dance thing.
Okay.
That's primarily top 40 rock, hip hop, disco, Latin, put into these giant medleys that doesn't allow anybody to leave the dance floor is the concept behind how I built this, 32 years ago, where I was
Right.
observing DJs like compared to bands. Because I was always in a band where you played a song, you stop, people clap, and you say a few words or maybe not, and you go on to
Yeah.
the next song.
Right.
But in between those songs, there was always the risk of losing people on the dance floor. And that's
Mm.
essentially what, in Tempe, Scottsdale, the clubs I went to were very geared towards dancing. When you go to a club, even with the bands, they were geared towards, selling booze and getting people to dance. And so I thought, I love the way that when the DJ comes on, people don't scatter every
Mm.
4 minutes.
Okay.
So we started putting things together in these giant medleys, kind of like DJs do, where songs blend from one song to the next. And in many cases, we don't even play a full song. We just do
Wow.
maybe a couple verses, a couple
Yeah.
choruses, then boom, into the next song seamlessly. And so there was kind of an art to like a DJ flows into one song to the next. We did that
Mm.
with live music, which at the time was unheard of.
Wow. Okay.
Particularly with the way we produced it and such like that. It was a kind of cutting edge that I kind of stole from my idols that I used to go see in the early '90s, which I used to go
Interesting.
every
Okay.
week. And if it wasn't for this band, I wouldn't be here because I was just like, wow, they're combining cover band music with a rock star attitude. They get to drink for a living, and they just drive people crazy. They were called the Boogie Nights.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them. Yeah.
And they started actually in Tempe, Arizona, which is where I'm from. They lived in California, but they started their show out there. And I used to go every week. And one thing that I thought was so appealing to them that created kind of an addiction is their humor. They were
Mm.
funny and they
Yeah.
were wild, and it looked like they were always right on the edge of falling off the cliff with their humor and their wildness and their drinking. I thought, God, that looks like something I want to do
Yeah.
as a singer, And
Right.
so, with that said, I took their concept, but I applied it towards top 40 music and put the medleys together. 'Cause, they would play a song, a stop. But then I thought, let's just keep this thing going. So there was something that people called the Zowie Bowie formula back in the early '90s
Hmm.
that became very conducive to nightclubs.
Hmm.
So a lot of times, bands aren't the greatest thing for a nightclub because of what I was just saying. But when you approach it like a DJ, then all of a sudden we became appealing to bigger clubs that had a bigger budget.
Wow. Awesome,
And
man.
so I
Mhm.
did this for several years at this mega luxury killer club in Scottsdale called Barcelona. That's where
Okay.
we started. And we kind of went from 0 to 60 right away in town in terms of the level of the type of venue we were at compared to where most bands played
Yeah.
in little hole in the walls. And we were playing to about 9,000 people a weekend at this
Wow.
mega club that was drawing in celebrities and sports figures. And out front, the valet would have nothing but luxury cars. And it was like a dream way to start.
Amazing,
And then we
man.
became kind of a big deal in Scottsdale. And within a year, we were endorsing Mercedes Benz and had billboard, all this shit
Oh,
that
wow.
kind of didn't exist
Yeah.
for cover bands. So what happened is we were playing. Um, and then it got to be the early 2000s and things were going great for us out there. But my entire purpose for being in a band, my entire purpose for singing anything was because I wanted to become a Vegas guy.
Mm.
And I'll bore you with that story in a second as to why. But we started performing, like I said, Scottsdale thing became a big deal. And lo and behold, the Fertitas, who own station casinos out here in Vegas, caught wind of us.
Okay.
So they came, they started sending people out to see us, and they were like, oh, you know what? This would be a perfect fit. It's like a luxury brand in the luxury part of town.
Yeah.
We're going to be building a place just like that in Las Vegas, and we're going to call it Red Rock.
Okay. Yeah.
At that point, they had Palace Station and Boulder Station
Yeah.
and those properties, which are great, but we were used to performing to a high-end caliber crowd in a high-end part of town. And, at the time we thought we were all that and we weren't anything. Once I got here and got slapped in the face with reality. But at the time, things were going very well for us, and they came out, caught wind of what we were doing, and said, "How would you like to be the show at our flagship property in this place called Summerlin?" and I think it's going to be a perfect fit for you. And so we
Yeah.
came out, they brought us out, we took a tour of the place with hard hats when they were building the
Wow.
place, and they took me into this club. They said, it's all just a cement foundation at the time. They said, this is your club.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, wow, this is a perfect fit for us. And so in 2006, we opened the Red Rock Resort Casino, and that was our introduction to Vegas.
Wow. That's
And so,
awesome.
like I said, my dream my whole life was to come to Vegas and be this
Yeah.
Vegas personality of some sort, even more so than an entertainer, just a Vegas guy. I was
Yeah.
always inspired by Vegas people and Vegas everything.
Right.
So I was like, this is going to be hard. We don't know anybody. We don't know anything. I don't know if we're ever going to get any attention out there. So I remember driving into town the very first day that we came here, and we were driving down the freeway. And I'm like, yeah, Zowie Bowie billboard. Yeah, Zowie Bowie billboard. Yeah, Zowie Bowie billboard. We were
Wow.
going to the convenience mart, and there's Zowie Bowie on the front page of the paper and on the cover of a magazine.
Wow. What a blessing,
Into the
man.
hotel, and we're on the
Wow.
side of the hotel, and we walked inside the hotel. We're everywhere. We're on the poker tables. We're on poker chips. We're on.
The whole,
Oh my God, are we
that's
Siegfried and
amazing.
Roy overnight? Are we Danny Gans? Because back then, those were the indigenous shows in
Yeah.
Vegas. And man, I'll tell you, God bless Station Casinos and Red Rock and the Fertitta family, because they literally took a kid from Tempe, Arizona, and made my dreams come
That's
true.
awesome, man.
And
What a story.
it was an incredible experience. We were there for
Wow.
13, 14 years,
Wow.
every weekend, and I can't say enough about how much I appreciate them. And strangely, um, coming up this April will be our 20th anniversary and Red Rock's
Oh,
20th
is that
anniversary.
right?
And we haven't played there now
Congrats.
in several
Yeah.
years because we ventured out and we've been all over the place since then.
Okay.
And we may be going back there in April to do a 20th anniversary show. And it's
Oh,
also,
so
strangely and
cool.
coincidentally, the 50th anniversary for Stations Casinos.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on that. Yeah.
Well, we're talking about, we're
Oh,
not
you're
sure
just in the
we're going to do
talks
it,
of it. Okay.
but I would love to do that. I think that'd be
That'd be
kind of cool.
great. Yeah, that would
But
be.
so, in any case, when I came here, to get back to the original point I was trying to make of the types of shows we do,
Yeah.
we came here with our original dance show that everybody knew about, and quite frankly, to this day is kind of how I make my living.
Yeah.
But my dream was something else. My passion was something else. And excuse me, I'm sorry. Um, allergies this morning.
That's fine.
Growing up, and if we have a second, I'll tell you why I'm even here in Vegas and the whole point of why I exist. That is, as a kid, all the kids on my block during the summer for their vacations would go, to Disneyland, go see Mickey Mouse or something. But me, growing up in the atmosphere I was with my family on summer vacations, we'd come to Vegas, go to the Sahara to see Don Rickles. That was my
You would.
objective.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so I loved Vegas, but I'd never really seen a Vegas show necessarily. Even in growing up, I never went to any big concerts. I think the only musical show I'd seen up to this point when I was around 11 was Annie on Broadway, a Broadway musical. That was the first thing I'd ever experienced.
Wow.
It's a hard knock life. And so I really didn't, I never really felt the impact of a big, loud concert and lights and things like that.
Yeah.
So in the late 70s, like 79, maybe 80, uh, when I was going into high school, I was probably, 13. Probably not even that old, junior high. My uncle, who lived here in Vegas, kind of a prominent guy, invited us out to come stay with us and said, "Hey, I'm going to take you to a Vegas show and all this." So we came out here, and oh my God, I was so enamored by the Vegas pizzazz and the feeling and the energy that was here. And he put me in his Rolls Royce and
Wow.
took me to the Las Vegas Hilton. And we pulled in and we went right to the showroom. And there was this tuxedo clad maitre d' who said, "Hello, Mr. Phillips. Right this way, sir." And I was like, "Ooh, you're important." Ooh. And he took us to this VIP booth right in the middle
Mhm.
of the theater. And
Yeah.
if you knew, growing up, all I listened to was Elvis.
Mm.
I was a huge Elvis fan.
Nice.
particularly the records my mother had of Elvis performing live in Las Vegas. I would listen to those things for hours, just dreaming of what that must be like to be Elvis Presley, or to
Wow.
have his lifestyle,
Yeah,
even more so than his life on stage. I thought, God, what would this be like driving around Vegas as Elvis?
exactly. Wow.
So I thought, oh my God, we're about to walk into this shrine that I've always dreamed of being in, Elvis's showroom. So this is the first showroom I ever walked into. And the curtain opened, and there was this huge orchestra with this blast and wall of sound that hit me I never felt before.
Wow.
It just took over my soul. It just the vibration and the frequencies and the sound and the people were so dressed up and
Yeah.
smelled like perfume and cigarettes and booze. I just loved everything about it. And
Right.
then out walks this guy, this charismatic character that I'd seen on TV and I knew all about him, but to see him live in the spotlight was something else. And he's one of these guys that when they walk out on stage, they steal the air out of the room with their persona and their aura. And he had this beautiful tan, this crazy hair, and these perfect teeth. And sometimes when I think about it, it makes me freeze.
Yeah,
Like,
you're froze up right now on the shot.
hold on, let me see if I can
Uh,
read. Let's see. Sometimes I get like that in the
there you
morning.
go. Does it?
It's a form of dementia where I'll be damn, I just freeze.
Hey, man.
It's but anyway,
Yeah.
I'm watching the show, and he was just electrifying. I was completely taken by everything Vegas at this point.
Mm.
And I'll be damned if halfway through his concert he didn't walk off the stage, walks right to my booth, and in the spotlight he's glistening, with just charisma, and he leans down and he goes, "Welcome to Las Vegas, young man. I'm Tony Orlando."
Wow.
And he was a big star for some of you
Yeah.
who may not know. He had a big TV show and big hits and
Yeah.
such, but so he was a big deal. And whatever that was sent a bolt of this Las Vegas lightning through my soul that just
Yeah.
said,
The energy of
whatever
that.
that guy just made me feel like, when I grow up, I want to make people feel like that.
Amazing. Wow.
I want to come to Vegas. I didn't care about going to Hollywood or even writing
Yeah.
songs or being on MTV. I wanted to come to Vegas and be a Vegas guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, that night made a massive
Wow.
impact on me and was
That's awesome,
completely
man.
influential the rest of my life, that subconsciously I was manifesting becoming a Vegas entertainer. And so, when you do that, every little decision you make through your life leads to what you want to do. So
Yeah.
finally, I got to be Zowie Bowie. I'm now in Las Vegas. I have this show. So, point being, when I came here, I said, I'll come to your room. I'll do 3 nights a week there. I'll be your show. But earlier in the evening, I want to do my vintage Vegas style big band show with horns and tucks and
Oh,
gowns.
wow. Okay.
Because my idols were God, Frank Sinatra and Tom
Yeah.
Jones and Elvis and Don Rickles and all these people that to me were just the epitome of cool.
Yeah.
So for 20 years now, besides my top 40 dance show, I also do a very authentic Vegas style show band.
That's awesome,
And
man.
at this
Congrats
point,
on that.
and
Wow.
because of my wife and how when I met her through COVID, we were like, how can we dress this thing up a little bit,
Yeah.
make it a little more pizzazz? So she started what's called the ZB Showgirls, and she started designing showgirl costumes
Oh, very
to go
cool.
with my big band show because to me it was all about the spectacle of it. And
Yeah.
the old shows you'd see like Jubilee and Folies Bergère and Lido di Paris, they all had showgirls, and to
Yeah.
me Vegas means showgirls,
Right.
and I didn't have showgirls. I just had, it was
The
my
big band.
a
Yeah.
big band and a tux. So when we added that element to it about 6 years ago, it really turned into something that I had dreamt of my whole life, of
That's awesome.
producing a show that was indicative of everything that was influential to me and obviously millions of others over the years. When you think of Vegas, you
Wow.
think of a certain type of show and sound and music. And so to me, that my passion is the other show I do, which is the Zowie Bowie Big Band.
That's awesome, man. I didn't even
And
know
that,
you had
and
that. Yeah.
now we have elaborate, like 18 showgirl costumes. It's all choreographed. And then on the other side, we
Wow.
now have dancers in our top 40 show too. So it's a full-bodied
Wow.
show that if we could do the whole
Amazing,
thing at
dude.
once, you really get the gamut of old vintage Vegas to today's current music all in one night if I was to do it all at once. And so, I like I said, I get to kind of satisfy two
Yeah.
very different types of interests, and you know,
Interesting.
and so I just hope I never have to grow up and mature and get a job. I can
Well, I
keep.
gotta say, man, you are definitely blessed to have both shows going on like that. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And knowing we
Well, I
only,
got to tell you
yeah.
something, if I may, and I'm glad I've let you talk so much on this.
Hey, it's your platform, brother. It's your
No,
story.
it's for me, this is really special,
Yeah,
and that is that I've been doing this a long time,
right.
and it all goes back to that day 47 years ago where seeing Tony Orlando changed my life.
That's amazing. Wow.
So I'm proud to say that with this big band show I have, I got the attention of some great folks in this town that are trying to address a little crisis that Clark County is having in the school system.
Mm,
And that is that we are short hundreds of teachers in Clark
okay.
County. So there's classrooms that are sitting vacant with no teacher in them. And so there's this incredible group of people headed up by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Jeffrey Geis, who had been the Clark County superintendent for years. Now he's the CEO of this school administrators group. But he started a foundation called the Silver State Education Foundation.
Okay.
And their purpose, like I said, is really noble. It's incredible, where they go into high schools, essentially, particularly uh, some underprivileged kids in certain areas of town where they might not have the opportunity necessarily to go to college. And we go in, we raise money, we take certain candidates that are interested in education, and we pay for their tuition at UNLV,
Wow, what a
their books, their
blessing.
housing,
That's
and we
awesome.
set we set them up through what's called a pipeline system. So we call it the homegrown teacher pipeline,
Yeah.
where we take care of their college, and then we secure and guarantee a teaching position for them when they get out of
Wow.
college.
Amazing, man.
But they have to become a teacher in Clark County.
Right, right.
That's the deal, because we're trying to, help the situation here. And
Yeah,
having a little 8-year-old, that's in school, I can understand the concern for parents who, send their kids off and they're being babysat instead of taught.
right.
So in any case, we've been doing a couple different big fundraisers for this, and this kind soul, Jeffrey Geis, caught wind of me, saw my show, and on stage I expressed the fact that growing up I was surrounded by teachers
Mm,
in my family. Prior to becoming certain things, they all taught school. My grandfather was a principal, my mom was a teacher, my dad was a teacher, my uncle was a teacher. And so I was really raised with understanding what a beautiful patient soul you have to be to educate our kids.
yeah.
And so when I understood that they had this problem, we discussed it, and I said, well, maybe there's something we can do together. And so I'm now the entertainment director for the Silver State Education
Oh,
Foundation.
wow. Congrats on
We
that,
did a
man.
huge gala back in September that was very successful, raised a lot of money, but we're
That's
doing our
awesome.
second event coming up in 2 weeks
That's awesome. Okay.
at
Very
the
cool.
Italian American Club on February 21st
Okay.
at 6:30, where they have, we love this club because there's old fashioned Vegas in there. And it's a dinner show. But here's what's great about it. I'm doing my big band show and we're, raising money for this foundation.
Yeah.
But my special guest is Tony Orlando.
Is it really? Oh, very cool, man. I'm
And
happy
so
for you
he's
on
become
that.
a friend of mine over the years.
That's awesome. Wow.
I remember I was performing at the Lansburton Theater at the Monte Carlo
Yeah.
15 years ago. 1,800 seat theater. We had a 17-piece orchestra. Oh, I was living my dream, and
Oh, that's
they,
awesome,
they
man.
had me marketed all over the town. And it was very common for me to, in the middle of a show, tell you that little story
Yeah.
just to kind of give an idea as to why Zowie Bowie exists and why I'm in Vegas. And I'm
Wow.
going on and on about this story. There's this guy, with the fucking glistening hair and the spotlight. And halfway through the show, I said, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be damned if he isn't sitting right there, the front row, watching me. And I'd never met him, never seen him. And there he is
Wow.
telling
There
this
he
story about
is.
Tony Orlando, and he's staring at me.
Cool.
And so, needless to say, after the show, he was very moved by that. Bless his heart, he's such a sweet, kind man. He came backstage, and he said, Chris, the exact same thing happened to me.
Wow.
When I came to Las Vegas in 1962, I saw a show that influenced me the way I did you, except his name was Bobby Darin.
Okay.
And, anybody that knows history of Vegas and stuff knows Bobby Darin was this incredible performer back in the day, in the Rat Pack era.
Yeah.
So, in any case, it's kind of been a full circle from 47 years ago, from when I met the inspiration who brought me here, and now I'm going to have him on in our on my stage, and we're going to be
Wow.
recognizing him with a Las Vegas Lifetime Achievement Award,
Amazing,
and
really.
also
Congrats.
we're gonna have the mayor there proclaiming that night to be Tony Orlando Day in Las Vegas,
Wow.
and the mayor's
Okay.
going to be involved. And so now I'm going to be the one on stage, being able to walk into the audience in the spotlight and lean down and say, "Welcome to Las Vegas, young man. I'm Zowie Bowie." And
Like,
so
man, that's a
I'm
awesome
so
story.
flattered that he's willing to join us. And like I said, over the years,
Yeah.
we've become friends, and he's been so helpful to people I know, and he's just been one of those kind of people that understand, like I do, that it's not about us; it's about
Mm.
you.
Yes, I agree.
It's about people in the audience.
Right.
So when people come to see me, it's a show about them
Mm.
through me.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm the kind of guy who, when I walk out on stage, it's unlike most shows. There's no preconceived notion whatsoever of what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say, or even what I'm going to sing. And I just kind of go with the flow of the night. And sometimes fun things happen, sometimes maybe not. But at least if I can say nothing, it's real.
Yeah. Right.
Genuine, and it's unique to that evening each and every time. And I've now done 6,000 shows, and
6,000.
there's never been two shows that are the same.
Wow.
I don't
6,000.
write material. I don't have choreographed moves,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why I'm not rich and famous. 'Cause it's just me, and that's what
Man.
you see is what you get. But everything I say and do is completely off the cuff, because I remember when, like I said, when I used to come see shows here, what was appealing to me more than anything, not just Vegas shows, but
Yeah.
bands back at home. Uh, I remember seeing, like, one of my good friends from high school that was in a band, and he was up and coming, that I really admired so much was his ability to speak in between songs. It's a guy named Rob Wilson from a
Okay.
band called the Gin Blossoms. I don't know if you ever found out about you, and hey, jealousy. They had big hits in the 90s, and they're
Mm.
still touring around. They're great.
Really? Okay.
One thing I loved about them, which I learned, and that is through a lot of the entertainers I saw, which is something I've adapted into many interviews and things that I say, that, in my opinion, the show starts when the song stops. And
Interesting.
meaning, to me, what's more entertaining than to see them sing a song, which many people can do? It's how do they handle their business, and how do they handle the crowd and the people in front of them when the music isn't playing?
Mm.
Do they freeze up? Do they have to say some scripted joke? Or are they just naturally themselves? And then we get to see if they're, you know, charming or
Mm.
funny, or if they care.
Mm-hmm.
Do they care about me, Mr. Audience Guy? And those who do care and try to incorporate them into the night or acknowledge them, even if a really genuine look into their eyes,
Mm.
to me, that's why I do this. And I think because, not to get all philosophical and weird, but I've now looked into the eyes of hundreds of thousands of people as they're staring at me,
Wow.
and I've learned that we're all kind of the same.
Mm.
We're all the same, no matter who you are, where you come from, or anything about you. At the end of the day, especially when you come to Vegas and you're in a good mood and you've had a couple drinks,
Yeah.
you all become kind of one. And so the whole purpose of my shows is especially when I perform in certain venues that don't know who I am,
Right.
I'm starting from scratch
Mm.
every single night. And in
Yeah.
some cases, every single set. Like, I perform out on the Fremont Street Experience downtown.
Yeah, you
Been there,
do.
I'm in our 16th year down there.
16th. Congrats. Wow.
God bless them. Thank you
Yeah.
to them. It's been so much fun because we do 3 sets a night. We're typically there from 11 till 2 in the morning,
Okay.
which means 3 shows. And because there's such a transfusion of blood, not just every night, but every set,
Hmm.
where people funnel through, and then we get another 800 people in front of us. So I'm having to start from scratch with people who have no idea what I am, who I am. And I have about 2 minutes to sell them or not.
Mm.
Are they going to stand there and watch me for an hour, or are they going to just keep walking by? And so for me, I have to make them feel like they're my family or my good friends at a high school party, and we're all just drinking and partying, and you're
Yeah,
my buds.
that's
And
awesome.
it's
Wow.
genuine and it's sincere because I love people.
Yeah,
And I hope, if nothing else, if they don't care for my singing or musical abilities, at least I hope they like their new friend, Zowie
yeah,
Bowie. And I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
quite frankly, that's been kind of the secret to what I'm most proud of, I think, with what I've done. And that is not the show itself, it's the longevity of it.
Mm.
Because there's a lot of people that I think are able to put together a band, and they're very
Right.
great. They're great singers, performers, whatever the case. But can you keep the business and the show going?
Mm.
And so I started, like I said, in 1994. And quite frankly, I'm still having just as much fun. We're doing just as well. And I'm as thrilled to go down to do a show today as I was 32 years ago. And I
Amazing.
don't want the train to stop. I'm having a
Yeah,
blast. I don't want to grow up, as I mentioned. And
yeah.
it's been great. And so we're very blessed that we're still out there every week. We perform at the M. Actually, we're there this Friday.
You
This Friday
are
night.
okay. Wow.
Friday the 13th.
13. Well,
And
interesting day, huh?
kind of like our version of a Valentine show.
Yeah,
And so we're at the end. We perform out at Casablanca in Mesquite. We've been doing New Year's Eve back home in my hometown of Scottsdale, Arizona, at Talking
that's
Stick
awesome.
Casino. To these
Wow.
huge, huge shows that we're doing out there. We're in Palm Springs. We're around, going to be doing things on the Strip. But I just love that we get to base ourselves here in Las Vegas, the party and entertainment capital of the world, which I never
Yeah.
want to. And I just think there's something special about this city where you can come here and do and be things you can't necessarily be anywhere else in the world. And I am proof of that.
Yes, you are, man. And I got to
And so I
say,
want to join, as
yeah.
long as I spend every day trying to keep the gut off and the hair in.
I gotta say the times I have seen you at your shows in the past, you really do connect with the guests, and then that's the thing, like you said, that's what's really important is that energy, that
It is
vibe,
to
that
me.
that connect. Yeah, and I totally agree on
I
that.
do
That's
my
what's
show
important.
from an audience perspective,
Yeah.
meaning I was so inspired by so many things growing up and watching week after week some of these bands and things. I think I learned what I don't want to be, what I don't want to see. And
Mm.
I try to be everything that I do want to see as an audience member. And more importantly, what I want to feel
Right, right.
more than what I want to hear. Just the energy is everything to me.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to put out an energy that makes people feel good and feel accepted and acknowledged.
That's
Because
awesome.
I wanted, when I would go to a show, I kind of wanted for the entertainer to look right in my eyes and let me know that we're now friends.
Well, yeah. That was, yeah, that story that you shared, it really is it's like it moved me to the point of just that one look that he gave you.
Yes.
Tony just changed everything.
You know, I'm
That's
somebody who
awesome.
can't remember what the hell I did last night, but I can remember that look from 47 years ago as
Man,
yesterday.
47 years ago.
Yeah,
Amazing, man. Well,
and it's
Chris,
stayed with me this whole
yeah.
time.
No, no, I'm glad. And that's the thing, that moment kept you going to make others feel that way. And that's what's important. And that's why
It was
you've,
a combination of that
yeah.
and absolutely no education.
Well, you definitely have won, what, 10 awards, Best of Las Vegas. Congrats on that.
Well, luckily because we're kind of a Vegas indigenous product, we've been very blessed that a lot of our shows have been patronized by people who live here, the locals.
Yeah,
And
right.
so they have the saying here in town that if anybody's watching that doesn't live here, they have a yearly thing in the Las Vegas Review Journal called Best of Las Vegas,
Yeah.
where people in the community vote. And somehow we've been voted Best of Las Vegas 10 times.
Awesome.
And then I have another cool thing that I'm even just as proud of, and that's as you mentioned, being voted Best Entertainer in
Right.
Las
Yeah.
Vegas twice in the last couple of years by uh, thing called the Silver State Awards, which
Wow.
covers not just
Amazing.
entertainers, but best of a lot of things in Vegas.
Yeah.
And so, awards are great, but at the end of the day, that's certainly not why I do it. But it's at times it's nice to be acknowledged for what we
Yeah.
do. So after 10, I kind of pulled myself out of the nominations going forward. Last couple of years, we decided, just you know, uh, 10's great.
Yeah. Keep it at
you
10.
know, and
That's
so
cool.
there's so many great bands, artists, lounge acts, performers. I'm at this point, especially with the kind of music I'm doing, I'm out there competing with a bunch of kids in their 20s that are incredible singers, good looking, high energy people. And I'm like, oh Christ, how's this? So, quite frankly, I want to thank the makers of Vodka and Desperation.
That's
You
funny,
know,
man. You're hilarious, brother. Oh wow.
hey, it's Vegas, bro. You
Yeah, man, you gotta
couple
have
of
fun
drinks.
and yeah. Well, Chris, I want to say thank you so much for your time coming on Rhythm and Roads Las Vegas. For the guests and the viewers that do want to see your shows, just finding kind of more information about you, like what's your website?
I don't even have a business card website. I'm not the traditional business
Is it
does things you're supposed to do like that. It's funny. I've been doing this 32 years. I've never sold a shirt, a
what?
record, I've
Really?
never had anything with Zowie Bowie written on it. I've never made it music. Dude, I've lost a tremendous amount of money not being a businessman. Let me just be honest with you. Because it's never been about business or money to me. I
Mm,
just wanted to make people happy and throw a freaking party.
yeah.
And I still kind of have that mentality. My wife thinks I'm an idiot because you know, I need to turn this into a business at some point and do all those things you're supposed to do. But to me, you know, I still go back to that feeling I had where I just want to make people feel what Vegas is supposed to be about, and it's
Mm.
not about those things.
Yeah, right, right.
And so, with that said, I do these weekly shows, and out in Fremont and various other places, and that works for me
Yeah.
until
And
it doesn't work, and then
of
maybe I'll
course, I
do
was gonna
something.
say you have your Instagram, right? So they can
Oh,
follow you
yeah,
on there.
yeah. The Instagram is Zowie Bowie Vegas,
Okay.
and then of course we have a Facebook page, Zowie Bowie.
Okay.
But otherwise, we don't have them fancy things like websites and shit.
I hope maybe down the road bring a shirt out, man. I mean, that'd be cool to rep after all these years. Cool, I'm wearing a shirt of Zoe
Yeah,
Bowie
I've
after
been
how
paying
many
for
years?
I've been paying for ZoeBowie.com for 30 years and I've never used it.
Wow, brother.
Maybe
Well,
someday.
well, I'm looking forward to seeing your show at the M Resort. I definitely will be there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Right.
I
And
know.
that's an early one. That's one of the earlier it's 8:30 to midnight at the M Resort this
Okay,
Friday the 13th. And otherwise Saturday on Valentine's, we're back out on Fremont from 11 to 2 doing our thing.
nice. And every Saturday you're at Fremont?
Yes, and I have a incredible co-star who is, in my opinion, probably the finest female singer in Las Vegas. Her name is Jamie Lynch.
That's
She's
right, Jamie
incredible. She's
Lynch.
been with me now for, oh gosh, about 10 years. And,
Wow,
she's
long time.
phenomenal. She's fierce. She's electrifying and she's truly what validates me getting to be who I am.
That's
Because,
awesome, man.
but
Yeah,
then I have a band, of guys that have been with me for years, and I just love them to death. And for us, it's more like a family of friends going
that's
out there
awesome.
and just having a blast.
Yeah,
And so I
man.
really appreciate all of them so much. Alfonso Bernal, James Castleton, David Vincola, and George Bryant. These guys have been around for forever with us, and so
Wow.
I just want to keep the train rolling and
Yeah,
keep making
man.
people happy and see what happens.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on Rhythm and Rose Las Vegas, sharing your incredible story, just the journey throughout the years.
Well,
And thank you
thanks,
for
man.
what you do for Las Vegas as well, making those just feel that Vegas experience. And I really, I've felt it too, which I've been to your shows and it's incredible. It's just a night you just wish it could go on all night till the morning.
Well, backstage sometimes it does.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
No, but thank you, and I appreciate what you're doing and
Oh
spreading the
man.
word about various aspects of this great city. And I'm
Yeah.
proud to live here. I love it, and I would like to invite anybody from all over the world to come here and see why Vegas has been such a big deal for so many decades, and
Awesome.
hope that we can keep the magic happen.
Keep it going, brother. That's right. And I just want to say to the viewers, if you'd like to come on the show as well, just contact me on Instagram, Joshua Jacob Official. Just send me a message, and you're welcome to share your story on Rhythm and Rolls Las Vegas. Chris, been such a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Bro, I hope I
And
get to see you, and I'm buying drinks.
yeah, man, well, I'll be there Friday for the M
Ah,
Resort, so I'll
well, then
come
plan on
by.
getting in some trouble.
Uh-oh, that's all. Let's see what news stories we'll have for that one. So, all right, guys, this is Joshua Jacob, Rhythm and Roads, Las Vegas. Thank you for watching.